There's a particular kind of silence that creeps in after years of noise and chaos. Not the silence of an empty room, not the silence of a phone you no longer check. It's the silence of group chats, where you read messages but never reply. Birthdays pass by, and you don't even send a dry congratulations. Suddenly, you realize you don't miss hearing anyone's voice at all. You didn't plan for this. It wasn't like one morning you woke up and decided to burn all the bridges behind you. It happened gradually, with every message you didn't reply to, every invitation you declined, until finally, you stopped pretending. You stopped explaining. You stopped making time for people who never made time for you. Maybe this feels familiar. Maybe you're that person, the cold one, the one who's changed, the one who's cut everyone out of their life, the one they whisper about at gatherings you're no longer invited to. But there's something they don't see. You were lonelier before you went solo. Let's talk about the psychology of people who cut everyone out of their lives. You look at your phone and see it's been months since you messaged anyone. No birthday plans, no weekend outings, just you, your routine, and a strange sense of peace you didn't expect. Before, saying, "I'm busy," was an excuse, but now it's a boundary. The difference is you no longer apologize for it. This didn't happen overnight. You didn't become ruthless in a day. You woke up after years. You were the friend who was always there, the one who drove hours in crises, remembered birthdays, and really listened when asking, "How are you?" You were the reliable one they called when they were stuck. Until you needed something. Until you hit your own crisis. Your breaking point. That 3 a.m. when you couldn't hold it together. You reached out for help, but what did you get? Silence. Maybe a "sorry to hear that" text. Maybe a "I'll call" that never came. Suddenly everyone was too busy. It wasn't that no one came. It was realizing how alone you'd always been. You thought they had your back, like you had theirs. You were wrong. That's when the equation changed. Every relationship became a calculation. How much energy does this take? What do I get back? The math didn't add up. You were pouring from an empty cup for people whose cups were never empty. They just wanted more. So you stopped pouring. Of course they noticed. When you're no longer available, when you stop initiating, they sense it. But they don't understand why. They say, "You've gotten so cold. What happened to you?" They say it accusatorily, like you owe them the old version of you, the one melting away from giving too much. They want that person back, the one who always said yes, who sacrificed themselves. They don't know that old you couldn't survive. Your nervous system learned something before you did. It picked up the pattern. Every time you let someone in, trusted, went all in, you ended up alone with a shattered heart. The friend who vanished when you were depressed. The partner who left when they should have stayed. The family there only for good times, not hard ones. Your brain learned to see the end from the beginning. When you meet someone new, a quiet voice in your mind asks, "How long until this one leaves?" It's not cynicism. It's statistics and experience. So you start controlling the only thing you can, the exit. If everyone's going to leave eventually, you decide when. You cut them out before they cut you. It hurts less when you're the one initiating. At least no surprises. Others call it self-sabotage. You call it self-preservation. It's not dramatic. No big fights, no yelling. It's quieter. You just stop replying. Days turn to weeks, weeks to months. You decline invites until your absence is normal, and they stop inviting. Maybe you move cities without telling anyone. Delete social media without goodbye or announcement. You don't give anyone a chance to try to keep you. They call it ghosting or a sudden cut. Whatever it is, you're gone. If you bump into an old one, they ask, "You good?" You say, "I'm good. You?" A surface chat. But inside you're thinking, "We were never really friends. Just knew each other's names." They never saw the real you. You just played the role they wanted. When you got tired and couldn't play anymore, nothing was left. The truth is, even surrounded by them, you were alone. Now that you're physically alone, your inner feeling matches the outer reality. Some think you hate them, but the reality is worse. You're indifferent. Hate takes energy, caring. You've moved past that. You're not running from them anymore. You're just done. They want closure, an explanation. What happened? Where they went wrong? But explaining to people who never listened is pointless. It means reopening wounds that just stopped bleeding. So you give them nothing. Let them make up whatever story they want about you. You're not reading it anyway. And here's the weird part. It doesn't hurt as much as you thought. Holidays alone, birthdays without wishes, solving problems solo. You thought it'd destroy you, but instead, it's quiet, and quiet has become your favorite sound. This pattern didn't start in adulthood. Its roots are in childhood. Somewhere you learned people either leave or hurt. Maybe an absent parent, conditional love, or learning to handle everything alone because asking for help got, "Not now," or "Figure it out." Maybe divorce showed nothing lasts, or a home full of silent rage taught relationships aren't safe. Later relationships repeated the lesson. You'll end up alone, need someone, and they're gone. Your brain wired around this. Connection is risky, trust expensive. When you cut people out, you're not cruel. You're living what life taught you. They say you don't let anyone close. Fear intimacy. As if you hadn't tried trusting, hoping this time it's different, but it wasn't. The friend busy when you said you're depressed. The partner who vanished when you showed your real self. Family who just talked. Same pattern, different people. Your 2 a.m. message read, but unanswered. The "let's talk" call promised, but never made. Remember how much you gave them? Dropped everything at midnight, but your turn? Everyone was occupied. All this meant you were alone, so you stopped trying. Not because you're broken, but because you finally heard your nervous system. The cost is too high. Vulnerability, hope, energy, more than what you get. You started counting. How many times did you initiate? How much talk about them versus you? How much did you adapt? The stats were horrifying. You weren't in relationships. You were performing a one-person show. People don't get why you chose isolation. To you, isolation means no rejection, no one to leave you. It's not hate. It's not wasting that last bit of heart trust on the unworthy. Now you're a pro at spotting abandonment signs. The friend who only calls when they need you. Present in joy but not hardship. Transactional relationships. When replies shorten, "We should meet," means never. Constant late reply apologies. You know the pattern. Distance grows. Talk gets shallow, then cuts off. Now you don't wait for the end. You cut at the start. When you sense effort imbalance, you pull back. Stop initiating. See if they come? Usually not. That proves everything. So you go. No fight, just knowing the story's end. Some say you're disillusioned with people. Wrong. You're disillusioned with pretending, with conditional acceptance instead of being seen, tired of explaining to those who won't understand. They wait for you to admit the problem's you, but it's not. The problem was settling for crumbs and calling it connection. You got used to being last choice, love with fine print, carrying the emotional load. Cutting people out means no more fake, hollow relationships. If that's connection, better none. They say you built walls. No, boundaries. Walls keep all out. Boundaries, wrong ones. But after years of wrong ones, boundaries look like walls. You're not running, you're standing your ground. Where no one can leave you because it's just you. Your worth isn't tied to anyone staying or going. This is the psychology of cutting ties. Not hate. Loving yourself enough to reject crumbs as a feast. Not bravest to stay and fight. Sometimes it's leaving and choosing you. You're not cold, you're surviving. And maybe for the first time, truly free.